UFC lightweight, Matt Frevola, thank you so much for coming on today. Man, I see you're freshly cut. Did you just come from the barber?
Uh, 2 days ago.
Okay, damn.
Yeah, I thought it was time. It was time to get in that killer mindset, clean it up, and I'll go and like get it cleaned up a little bit right before I head to Vegas. Just keep it fresh, Try to keep the beard a little bit too.
All right. Now, man, the last few months or just this year has been pretty nuts for you. You know what I mean? It's nuts for everybody, but for you, you were set to face Roberts in April. That's canceled by the coronavirus pandemic. Then you're pulled from your fight in June with Camacho with your corner testing positive for COVID. Now you're rescheduled for Roberts coming up in September.
Yeah.
What a roller coaster year, man. Like, emotionally, has it been pretty trying for you this year?
I mean, I'm sure it's probably been rough for a lot of more people whose like lives have been like touched by this virus a lot more. But yeah, it's definitely been shitty, but it's been shitty for a lot of people. Being in New York when it first hit in like April, and like I was hearing horror stories and from like in the city and stuff, and then everything got shut down, and trying to train for that April fight was like pretty much impossible. And then the UFC didn't cancel the fight till like 2 weeks out. So I was like, those last couple weeks, like when I was trying to still put a fight camp together and train for that fight, before the UFC really canceled it, it was tough. But then they canceled that fight in April, which was the right decision at the time. But yeah, that was rough. And then having to put a whole nother fight camp in for the June 20th Frank Camacho fight. I had to go down to Florida, Tampa, because everything's open down here. So I went down there and I did a full fight camp, and I get to Vegas, and my cornerman and buddy Billy Q test positive, so they pulled me off that card. It was pretty shitty, but I mean after that, I went home. I went back home to Long Island, New York, and I got to enjoy summertime a little bit back home, and then continued to train. But up in New York, everything was still closed. The MMA gyms, Sarah BJJ, Longo and Weidman was still closed. The Longo and Weidman was like opening like a couple nights a week, and we were getting in there. The pros were getting in there and training and stuff. But I came down again to Tampa, Florida, to do like a 5-week camp before this fight, and I'm ready to go now.
Going back to that April show, you said that you didn't really have a camp going on, or it was just training here and there probably, and you're playing this game of Russian roulette with the UFC. How was that, man? It must have been nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it was definitely rough because when I have a fight signed, that's like I'm preparing 100%. I don't take anyone lightly. I know that that I'm about to go and face another trained killer in there, and I better be on my point. I better be 100% prepared. And in April, everything was closed down. They were telling us to quarantine completely, and we kind of had to. It was the numbers allegedly were bad, and everything was bad, whatever. And yeah, it was tough. And then finally, when the UFC canceled that fight in April, it kind of was a little bit of a relief.
Yeah, I've talked to a few fighters. They were in the same situation. It's like I can't pull out because I signed the contract, but then at the same time it's like, damn, I don't know if what's going on, man. Like they're not canceling anything, but they finally did, man. And then you get to move on. You don't have to worry about that. And yeah, man. And with the last show, it wasn't your fault. It was out of your hands, and the UFC did pay you. How massive was that for you, especially not fighting most of the year?
Oh, it was huge. Especially, I left my home. I went down to Tampa and to do the whole fight camp, left my family and all that. And, that cost money going down there and traveling and doing that. And I did everything I could do and like everything I could do to show up. I was ready to fight. I was on weight. And they still, because my cornerman tested positive, they pulled me off. So I'm definitely glad the UFC did the right thing and paid me.
You get to Florida, you do your quarantine, you get back to New York. how was the situation in New York before you got to Florida? Was, you said that some places weren't open. You're out in the summertime. Was it kind of freeze at that point?
Yeah, yeah. After that June 20th fight got canceled, and then I got back to New York. It was summertime, and people were out. The gyms were still closed. I think the gyms just are starting to open up in New York, but back in June, everything was still closed. Restaurants were like half capacity, but we still, I was enjoying summer. I got home. I was bumming that I didn't get to fight, but I was happy that I got paid. And there's nothing like a summertime in Long Island, so I was kind of enjoying myself in Long Island, still training and trying to enjoy the summer. So it was good.
Just recently, you said that you wanted to probably face Kama Worthy. Was that ever discussed with the UFC?
No, we never got offered it. I don't know if maybe they offered me to Kama and he said no or what. But I was hoping to fight sooner as well. But the only contract we got was Roosevelt Roberts, September 12th, and I knew that that's a guy that I knew I had to beat up eventually. So why not in September?
Definitely, Roberts. He's been wanting to fight you. He's been calling you out after winning fights, and now you are fighting. Any pre-fight banter with him? Has he reached out to you, or have you seen anything, or has he been quiet?
A little bit. Even I remember when Billy Q fought Spike. Roosevelt fought Brock Weaver on that card, and I saw him at the hotel, and we went up and we talked a little bit, and the UFC guy staff came around us thinking we were gonna scrap in the hotel room, in the hotel lobby, but he was cordial, man. I got a lot of respect for him. I know that he's a skilled fighter, and but I told him that night that you handle business, and I'll see you down the road, and he did that, and he got that win, and now we get to fight.
Last time we spoke before the Camacho fight, we were talking about how you were gonna fight a guy that's kind of your size in height, and then you're kind of relieved, but then now you're that fight didn't happen, and now you're booked for Roberts, who's actually 6'2", so he's pretty tall and long, just like your previous last two opponents. So you just can't get away from these tall guys, right?
I know, I'm the giant slayer. I mean, the last two guys were 6'3". This guy's 6'2", but nothing I haven't seen before, and I'm gonna do what I got to do to get this win, get this finish.
So this is gonna be the second training camp, but really, is it the first training camp for Roberts with the situation that you were in before?
No. I remember I signed the first contract to fight him in April, and I game planned back then. Talked with my coaches about the fight. Everyone loves a fight, and then that fight got canceled, and then he continued to speak my name every time he got a microphone in his face, which I don't mind. On ESPN, you want to talk my name on ESPN, just go right ahead. So I knew that this fight would always happen, and so it wasn't really hard to mentally prepare for it, because I've been preparing for it.
After the Weaver fight, Roberts went on and took on Jim Miller, and he was submitted. What did you think of that performance up to the time that he got, he tapped out?
It was a real quick fight. He I think they threw a couple kicks, and he ended up on the ground. And I mean, anybody on the ground with Jim Miller, that could happen. So it's no, I know that he's good on the Roberts is also good on the ground, but Jim Miller is a veteran, so it's really no shame in a loss to Jim Miller like that. But I was a little surprised that he's coming back so soon. I felt like he'd probably still be icing his arm right now, But he says he's ready to go, so he better be.
Do you see this fight even hitting the ground?
Yeah, it's a mixed martial arts fight. Most of my fights, I like to mix it up, So So we'll see. It definitely can end up on the ground, whether it's me taking him down, slamming him on his head, or if I drop him, he's definitely going to be on the ground. So yeah, definitely see it.
Yeah, with training in Tampa, and you have your coach Arroyo, and you have Billy Q there. Is that the kind of the core group that you've been working with?
Yeah, and then I got my Muay Thai, my striking coach Dan Rawlings, who's the man, and then we got a bunch of pros down here too. Hugh Pulley, who's a real good guy trying to get on Contender Series, and then Troy Gerhart, another high level pro trying to get Contender Series, and then there's a lot of good talent in Tampa area. That a lot of guys that just need that opportunity, need a couple more pro wins to get the Contender Series slot, and once you get that Contender Series slot, that's the shot that you need to get in to the UFC. So
All the pre-fight talk and him calling you out on ESPN. I feel like a lot of people are expecting fireworks in this fight. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be fight of the night or if it's gonna be a performance of the night by someone. How do you envision this fight?
High level. High level, real competitive fight, but I'm gonna come out there and do what I do. I got to push the pace on him, drag him to deep water and drown him. I've seen him fade in fights, so that's what I plan on doing. And I know he's gonna come out hot. He thinks it's personal or whatever, but I'm prepared for it, and I think it just makes it more exciting for me and for the audience, but yeah, I definitely know he's good, but I know I'm good, so that's what makes the fight exciting.
Has your mindset gone through changes this year with all the stuff that's happened and everything, all these obstacles? Entering this fight, is it a little bit different?
My mind frame always kind of changes. Whether I'm in a fight camp or whether I'm just training to have fun and to get better. But then once I get that contract and I have that opponent and I have that target, it's definitely a switch of the mind frame of just sharpening my weapons for this specific opponent on this specific date. And then that's really the only mind shift I have. And for like the COVID thing and the pandemic and all that, it's just kind of realizing that this is the life that we have, that this is the way it is right now, and we're gonna have to live with it and make the best of it, which I've been doing.
You and me both were fortunate because this sport is continuing and I get to cover the sport and you get to participate in the sport. So I look at the positive sides just like yourself. Huh?
As long as Billy Q doesn't get the corona again.
Well, he's fighting too, so I'm pretty sure.
I'm staying away from him on the plane, I'll tell you that.
All right, well, September 12th, man, UFC Fight Night, Las Vegas. You're back in action against Roberts. I love this matchup, man. It's I guess you get to close the book, end the chapter with Roberts in this one. So it's gonna be a fun fight, man. Thank you so much, Matt, for the time, and be safe, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah, definitely, man. Thank you, and you too. You be safe out there in Korea. That I just found out you're in Korea.
Hey guys, Sasha Platnikoff here, letting you know to tune in to SCMP Post Fight for all your weekly martial arts news.